To the stage at the 2021 Calhoun County High School Football Media Day, the Jacksonville Golden Eagles. The head coach of the Eagles is Clint Smith. Today, Coach Smith has brought with him senior fullback Quintavious Long and senior running back Jataj Morris. And Coach Smith, will you start with a statement and then we'll take questions?
Well, we're excited to be here today. Appreciate all the efforts that put this on. It's an outstanding event for our schools, our coaches, our student athletes, and we're just really excited to get together and start another season. We had a really good spring. I think we had the biggest participation rate that we've had since I've been there. We had 80 kids out for spring training, and we'll start practice Monday with 65. And so those guys that worked hard all summer, and, started in the spring, and so we're excited about that opportunity. We only have 9 seniors this year, and they're a senior class that has been really important to us over the years. Most of these guys have been with us for 4 years, and have come through our program, our varsity program, our junior high program, and they're a bunch of guys that lead by example and just do things the right way. And 2 of those guys are here with me today. Jataj Morris is our running back, plays some outside linebacker, and Q Long is our fullback and plays outside linebacker for us as well. So both of these guys have been in our program for 4 years, and they just do things the right way, whether it be athletically or academically. They just, they're winners, and we got a lot of guys on our team that are like that, and we're just excited to be here.
Well, Coach, I know I'd like to have a question for the players. You guys, I assume, have come up with Coach, and how does that prepare you as a senior, knowing this is your last year with the guys that are behind you, the amount of players that are out? What does that do for your leadership? What do you guys do for these younger guys and the guys that'll be playing when you guys are gone?
Coach Smith hold us to an expectation, and the lead the young guys as the guys did before us had led us. We just try to uphold that expectation.
Yeah, I would say Coach Smith, he paved the way coming up as a freshman. I always knew what he expected, and I want to lead for the young guys behind us.
Good.
Well, these guys are a product of senior classes before them, and they did lead them the right way, and they know the expectations and they know what's expected of them, and we look for them to do the same thing and help mentor and lead these younger guys.
Okay, question back here from Joe Medley.
Yeah, Clint, obviously COVID beat you guys pretty hard last year. And what kind of off season has it been in terms of precautions for you guys this year? Have you backed off of things, kept the same kind of protocols? And how concerned are you about what you're seeing in the news right now related to that?
Well, it did hit us last year a few times during the year, whether it be through contact tracing or whether, actual cases, things like that. And, looking back over last year, we were doing things as safely as we could. And, we tried to make sure we had every precaution and just thought, still think we have, had a really good plan for that. But, you can't be with guys for 24 hours a day, and you can't control everything. We could just control what we could, and still feel like we did a really good job. Going into this spring, this summer, things were a little bit more normal, but we still have some of the same things that we did last year in place, but it was a little more normal as far as our weight room and things like that, being able to do 7-on-7, and just some of the things that we could not do last year, we've been able to do. But going into this year, much like last year, we're going to be as cautious as we can and try to put the kids in the situation to be as safe as possible.
Coach, the last couple of years, the standard or the expectations have been raised. A couple of years ago, went further than Jacksonville had ever gone before. Talk about this year's expectations, not only within the region, but also after the regular season's over with.
Yeah, we have the same expectations every year, and I think our players, we've gotten to that point where they expect that, and they plan on that. We want to compete for region championship. We want to go as far as we can in the playoffs, and that's just kind of what's expected and what we expect to do as coaches and as players and as a community. And so, those expectations are great, and that doesn't change this year. We do have a smaller senior class, but like I said, these guys have played a lot of football. They've won a lot of games, and they're used to that. And so, the expectations are the same, and we're going to try to do the same thing. We got a lot of our guys back for offensively. We lost a couple of guys. Defensively, we took a bigger hit than we did offensively, but we've got guys that are going to go in there, and they're expected to step up, and that's what they'll do. And so that's just, they know the expectation, which I think is the biggest thing.
Okay, question from the back.
Clinton, do you think you'll have to change schemes on defense with so many different faces?
We're going to do a few things different. We are, like I said, replacing more defensively. We're going to do a few new things, but the core part of our defense, we'll be doing the same thing that we've done for years. We may go to a few different sets to change things up a little bit, but these guys have been in our program for a long time, and so a lot of the same expectations will be the same.
Expectations for Jimmy?
Do what?
What's your expectations for Jim?
What are my expectations for Jimmy? Well, Jim's had a great offseason.
Because he's been there forever, and it looks like it's this is if he's gonna have a breakout, this will be that year, especially with the other elements.
Yeah, I mean, looking at our offense from last year, Jay Tars rushed for over 1,000 yards last year in 9 games on the field. Jim threw for over 1,200 yards in 7 games. And so, Jim brings an element of being able to stretch the field, being able to throw the ball. And when you put that with our running game, we've always had a strong running game and some really good backs. And we'll have that again this year. So, it does give us, the ability to move around and do some different things offensively and maybe put some more pressure on different defenses.
That's in high school football. That's a special element in it to be able to go, because most everybody's a running team. They run it. What's it? How valuable is it to have an air attack? Would you obviously
Yeah, I mean, it's very valuable. Like I said, we can keep people off balance more. Jim has grown. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten faster. He's worked really hard this summer. Went to a lot of camps and did really well at 7-on-7. So he's doing a great job for us. I think he's going to be a really good leader for us, and so he'll definitely bring another aspect to our offense.
Clint, I'm curious, you guys played for it all 2 years ago. There's so many teams in the state that never get the opportunity to play for a championship. Mentally, what did that do to you as far as wanting to get back and finally get one of those blue maps now that you know that your kids are capable of playing at that level?
It's one of those things, I've been able to experience that as an assistant, when I was at Clay County, when I was early on, while I was in college, and, at a smaller level, when I got my first head coaching job at Trinity. And so, you hear people say, well, if I could just win one, but, once you get there and you experience it, it just really fuels, you want another one, you want another opportunity to go. And I think that does it, with players and everything else. And I think the biggest thing is it just shows, that, we can be there. Why not us? It's got to be somebody. And, our kids work really hard, each and every day, and going into every season with that being, the ultimate prize. And so, these guys were on that team, played a big part on that team. This senior class did, and so they remember that. They remember what it takes to get there, and there's a lot of things that go into that. You have to be good, yes. You have to be healthy. You have to be peaking at the right time. There's just a lot of things that go into making that final run to a championship game. But it's what we strive to do, and it's what we want to do, and we want to get back, no doubt.
To follow up on that, this is for you guys. You were part of that team 2 years ago. The whole mindset in the community now is different than it used to be at Jacksonville High. What does it mean to put that uniform on and run through that banner when you play at home on a Friday night football game there on your own field? Try to put into words the emotions that come with that, and what's it gonna feel like your first home game this year, knowing this is your last hurrah at this?
There's no better feeling than going out there and playing on Gold Eagle Stadium. The community is behind us every game, loud. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah, it's a great feeling having the whole community behind you. You know they're there for you, the fans.
And have those younger kids come up and look and idolize you like you did back in the day of the other guys. So it's kind of a neat feeling. Any other questions for Coach or the players?
One more, please.
Got one back here? Okay, yes.
Yeah, Clint, and everybody talks about how strong our 3A region is, and with Waxahachie, how good that is. Yours is pretty stout too, and I think you got maybe 5-6 teams that can contend for a playoff spot. How strong is your region? Would you just kind of speak to that and with the players too? Because it's competitive almost every week now in the league.
I definitely think it's one of the best 4A regions in the state from top to bottom. In this area, 3A, 4A football is just really strong. When you look at our region, you have a lot of schools that have a lot of tradition, and tradition carries a lot of things, and tradition of winning, and a tradition of going deep in the playoffs, a tradition of winning state championships, and even on the down years and the years where somebody might not be as good, they're still ultra competitive. And I think our region has a lot of really good coaches that have a lot of experience and have won those championships or won region championships. And so that does make it tough week in and week out. You don't have an off week. You don't have a break going into it. I do think that prepares you. I do think that helps when you get into the playoffs. I think that's been very evident over the past couple of years. And I think that just, it makes you better. And it's tough when you're going through it. Just staying healthy, so many physical teams and teams with a lot of speed, just a lot of athleticism. But I think it makes you better. And, it's just one of those things where every year, you may have a favorite, that comes out of it, but it's a dogfight for everything else in that region.
And would the players address that? Because it would seem to me that you've got like at least two state championship contenders in the league that you've got playing.
Yeah, we know every week is a region game. It's gonna be a good game. You're gonna have to come play every week. There's no looking past an opponent in our region.
Yeah, every week is gonna be pretty hard. Gotta compete at a certain level to get to where you want to go.
J-Taj and Q's, this is a question for y'all, and then I want Coach, you just do some ended statement here if you got something else you want to say. But I want to ask you guys, you're seniors, you've been with this guy, he's taught you. What can you say about your coach that maybe nobody would know? Maybe something at practice, something that he does that you guys appreciate or don't appreciate, because this will be your last shot at that. So, and then Coach, you finish up and we'll move on to the next one.
This may be dangerous.
He's a comedian. He cracks some jokes, but he gonna be there for you. He gonna teach you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say I want to brag on his leadership, and once again, yeah, he's pretty funny dude.
Well, I do have a good time with them. That's why they play. That's why we coach. That's part of it. And so I cut up with them a lot. But they do a great job of buying into what we're doing, and they're infectious, and they impact the other kids in the school. And so I think that's one reason our numbers have been able to grow like they have. Is we just kind of all got a good relationship with Jacksonville, from that standpoint. But appreciate you guys having us. I want to say that our band and our cheerleaders, everybody that goes into making Friday nights possible at Jacksonville, I want to brag on them for working hard. Our band was out there at band camp right now when we left, and our cheerleaders been working all summer, and our guys have been working hard. So Friday nights are exciting in Jacksonville, and big reasons because of the effort that all our student athletes and coaches put together for us.
Jacksonville Golden Eagles, thank you so much, Coach, and players, thank you for coming.
Next up, Donahoe Falcons in 2 minutes.